What's happening and what the Tibetan exiles under their new leader, Pemba Tsering, seem to be articulating is a completely new understanding of China's strategic position on Tibet. It's always been seen as very powerful, very aggressive, very assertive, and having all the cards. You know, most complaints from Western countries about China's policies in Tibet have focused on the human rights issues. But this bill, this congressional bill, that they call it the Tibet Resolve Act, really is moving away from human rights as its focus to history as its focus. The disinformation that it requires America to counter is China's claims about its historical sovereignty in Tibet. And that is very significant change because that's the core issue for China. It's not really concerned about criticism of its abuses in Tibet. It's concerned about any questions marks over its claim to ownership of Tibet. And the bill, the delegation, and basically all these things were all written by Tibetan exiles. The Americans are really just performing to the exiles' request. That bill makes very clear that China has claimed historical ownership of Tibet in many different ways at different times. It keeps changing its narrative on when Tibet became part of China. For many years, until 2015, it said Tibet became part of China in the 13th century. Now it says Tibet became part of China as a local government in the 7th century. So essentially, the Americans are saying to China, your story keeps changing. You keep moving the goalposts. We are going to go to our government and tell our government to de-recognize your historical claim, which you keep changing, even though we're not going to challenge or ask our government to challenge your current claim. So there's an interesting kind of division here between current sovereignty, which they're not disputing, the Dalai Lama isn't disputing, and historic claims, which is what China desperately wants other governments to accept. So this bill and this delegation has a more significant cutting edge to it than we've seen in the past. And this delegation now is pointing to China's vulnerability over its historic claims. It hasn't got other countries to recognize that. And so India is in a position to say to China, we have something that you very much want. We have many things that you very much want on the Tibet issue. These are crucial to your security. Tibet is 25% of your landmass. The Dalai Lama is a far more charismatic figure than any other leaders that have come out of China. We are able to broker with you a deal. Or
Professor Barnett, we're running out of time, unfortunately. Thank you very much for those great insights. You're an expert on Tibetan history and what's going to happen there in the next few years and decades. Thank you once again for joining us on the program. With that, we come to the end of Global Eye. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.